true story of Sarah Bennett, an intrepid young woman who has an encounter with the paranormal that sets her on a path to uncover secrets long buried. When Sarah witnesses the ghost of a vengeful spirit in her small-town library, little does she know the terrifying truths this haunting apparition is trying to reveal from beyond the grave. Teaming up with her friend Lucy and relying on clues left by the mysterious spirit, known only as Jenny Dawson, Sarah finds herself plunged into a dangerous game of cat and mouse with the corrupt town mayor, who will stop at nothing to prevent his sinister past from surfacing. As Sarah fights for her life against impossible odds, she must also fight to be believed that the ghostly encounters she's experiencing are far more than just her imagination. With Jenny's help, will Sarah survive to expose the deadly cover-up, or will the mayor succeed in silencing her like he did over a century ago? Join me for a chilling supernatural thriller that will keep you guessing until the very end. Based on true events that have left historians, paranormal experts, and ordinary townspeople mystified for years, this story offers a glimpse into mysteries that still defy explanation to this day. So, grab your snacks, dim the lights, and get ready for a haunting adventure you'll never forget in ghostly encounters that defy explanation. Small Town Library, Night. The papery is empty and dark, except for a single desk lamp illuminating Sarah Bennett, 23, hunched over books and papers, pencil in hand. She seems engrossed in her research. A book suddenly slams shut on the table, startling Sarah. She jumps and looks around but sees no one. Shaking her head, she mutters, "Calm down, Sarah, it's just the wind," and goes back to her work. Moments later, footsteps echo in the hallway just outside. Sarah whips her head up, peering into the darkness. "Hello?" she calls out tentatively. No response. She shakes her head again, getting jumpy for nothing. As Sarah bends back to her work, a pale face suddenly appears inches from hers, floating in midair. Sarah screams and falls back in her chair, books and papers scattering. The face just hovers there, staring at her with sunken black eyes. Sarah retreats backward to the floor, scuttling away in terror. She backs onto a shelf and freezes, panting in fear as the face remains hovering in place. It slowly turns its head, as if examining her, then vanishes into thin air. Sarah sits trembling for a long moment, catching her breath, heart racing. She notices something among her papers on the floor, a photograph. Picking it up slowly, she sees it's an old black and white portrait of the pale, sunken-eyed face that just appeared before her. Small Town Diner Morning. Sarah sits at the counter, nursing a coffee and nibbling toast, still shaken. Her friend Lucy, 25, perky waitress, joins her on her break. "Lucy, you look like you've seen a ghost, hun. What's got you so spooked?" Sarah hesitates, not sure if she should say. Sarah: "I know it sounds crazy, but I think I saw a ghost last night at the library." Lucy raises her eyebrows with interest, but keeps an open mind. "Lucy, tell me what happened." Sarah recounts the strange encounters, the slamming book, footsteps, then the terrifying pale face hovering before her out of nowhere. She pulls out the old photo and shows Lucy. Lucy takes the photo to examine it closely, curious. She gasps as recognition hits her. "Lucy, Sarah, I think I know who this is. This is Jenny Dawson." Sarah: "Jenny Dawson? Who was she?" Lucy: "She lived here in the late 1800s. According to the old records at the library, she worked there as a librarian. One night she was alone closing and just vanished. They never found out what happened to her. Sarah shivers, pieces coming together. Could it be—" Sarah: "Do you think it was her ghost I saw?" Lucy can only shrug, mystified, but it does seem to fit. Sarah's apartment, night. Sarah sits at her computer, researching furiously. On the screen are old newspaper articles and records about the mysterious disappearance of Jenny Dawson over 100 years ago. The more she reads, the more convinced Sarah becomes that what she experienced was no coincidence. It was Jenny's ghost. But why make contact now after all this time? What does it want? Sarah's eyes land on a scan of an old journal page, written in fancy cursive script. It's a passage from Jenny dated just days before she vanished. I fear I am close to discovering something dark, something they do not wish me to know. But I must pursue the truth, no matter the danger. Pray for my safety as I delve deeper. Sarah's blood runs cold. Jenny was onto something when she disappeared. Could her ghost be trying to communicate an urgent message from beyond? Library archives. Day. Sarah enters the old musty basement archives holding boxes of records and files. She begins sifting carefully through stacks of documents and diaries from the late 1800s, searching for any clues. As she reads, jotting notes, a chill runs through the room. Looking up sharply, Sarah gasps. Jenny's pale face is gazing down at her from across the stacks. Sarah jumps up, heart pounding. The ghost seems to be trying to guide her, pointing a translucent finger toward a box on the top shelf. Sarah climbs the rickety ladder and removes the lid to find more journals inside, inscribed J. Dawson. She retrieves them eagerly, hoping for answers. Back at her table, Sarah pores over the journals, reading by fragments of sunlight streaming through high dusty windows. Her eyes wide, Sarah realizes she's found what Jenny was pursuing, incriminating details of corruption and cover-ups within the local government. Before she can finish, the temperature plunges as Jenny's ghost approaches behind her. Sarah whirls around to face the spectral librarian, eyes filled with understanding. Jenny nods gravely, as if to say, "Now you see why they wanted me silenced." A loud crash from above makes them both look up in alarm. Heavy boots approach, drawing nearer. Library archives, moments later. Sarah peers around a shelf to see two men in suits stalking through the basement, shining flashlights. She ducks back, heart pounding. Her eyes scan frantically for an escape. The small, high window above is her only way out. Wasting no time, Sarah hurriedly pushes shelves and furniture into a makeshift staircase. She climbs up as footsteps draw nearer. Throwing her leg over the sill, Sarah heaves herself out and comes face to face with the cold eyes of Mr. Carlyle, the mayor, standing expectantly below the window. His goons close in behind him before Sarah can react. "She's trapped," Carlyle. "So, you're the one snooping where you don't belong, Miss Bennet. Can't have you spreading any tall tales. Boys, take care of her." As the thugs grab Sarah roughly, she fights back with everything she has, screaming, but it's no use. A hand comes from behind to cover her mouth, silencing her struggles. Darkness descends. Fade to black, unknown location, later. Sarah stirs, regaining consciousness in a dark, dank room. She's bound tightly to a chair in a dim circle of lantern light. Footsteps approach from the shadows. A face enters the glow. Mr. Carlyle. He circles Sarah predatorily as she glares defiantly. Carlyle. "So, you found Jenny's little secret, did you? Well, as long as I'm mayor of this town, no one will ever believe the ravings of a dead librarian or a so-called ghost hunter." He yanks a packet of papers from her bag, Jenny's damning evidence. Casually tossing them into a rusty wood stove, Carlyle watches the flames consume them. Sarah breathes heavily, fear rising, but determination sets in. She must find a way to expose the truth, no matter what. As Carlyle leaves, locking the heavy door behind him, a figure emerges from the darkness. It's Jenny's ghost. Sarah gasps, but Jenny lays a transparent finger to her lips, imploring silence. She gestures to the steel door, then to Sarah. She's going to try phasing through to find help. With a final nod, Jenny fades through the wall. Sarah is alone, for now. Sarah's apartment, mourning Lucy. Lets herself in, worried about her friend who hadn't been seen since last night. She spots Sarah's research spread out on the table. Looks like she was onto something big. Lucy picks up Sarah's phone to call the police, but it rings first. It's Sarah, but her voice panicked on the other line. Sarah, VO. Lucy. Thank God. They've got me locked up somewhere. I don't know where I am. Lucy. Who have you? What's going on? Sarah, VO. It's Carlisle. He killed Jenny Dawson to cover up his crimes. Now he's trying to silence me too. Lucy's eyes widen in shock and understanding. All at once, Jenny's ghost appears through the wall, frantic gestures implying Sarah is in danger. Lucy gasps but nods. She's going to help. Mystic Cave. Later. Deep in the woods, an old mining cavern has seen sinister deeds. Sarah sits bound in the dim light. Thanks for asking me to elaborate. Let me continue fleshing out the story. Inside the dank cavern, Sarah strains against her bonds as footsteps approach. Two of Carlisle's goons appear, ready to silence her for good. But suddenly, thunder crashes outside as a storm rolls in. The lights flicker ominously. The goons paused, unnerved. Then from the darkness emerges a figure, shrouded and ghostly. Jenny has returned with reinforcements, the spirits of miners who met their end in these very caves. The goons train their flashlights, but see only mist swirling at their feet. Eerie wind picks up as disembodied moans echo off the walls. Sarah watches in a mix of fear and wonder. Shaking, one goon backs toward the exit, but hits only solid rock behind him. They're trapped! Twisted shadows dart around the perimeter as Sarah's bonds slowly untie on their own. She backs away just as the miners' vengeful spirits descend on the terrified men. Their screams are cut short as Sarah flees down the tunnel behind Jenny's guiding light. They emerge into the raging storm. Jenny points the way out of the woods. Sarah's phone rings. It's Lucy. She found the location with a clue from Jenny. Help is coming at last. Jenny smiles, her mission complete, and fades from sight. Sarah breathes a sigh of relief, but her story is far from over. Justice remains to be served, and Jenny's message must still be shared with the world. The storm shows no signs of letting